Chicago! Hey, Chicago, give yourselves a hand, please. Look at all these beautiful people out here. Hey, y'all, I'm here to wake y'all up. I know y'all been sitting out here all day, okay, but we're about to eat after I'm done talking. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Kevin Bame. Thank you. I met Kevin almost 10 years ago when my dear friend, one of my best friends, Angela Bassett, tricked me into going on this retreat. Yeah. She said, Tosh, you want to go on this retreat? It'll be free for you. So you know, I'm like, my black ass is like, free? Sure, I'll go. I would love to go, right? I said, well, what's this retreat? She said, it's a little bit of massaging and good food and all that. She didn't tell me that it was 10 to 15-mile hikes every day, raw food, no alcohol. I thought I was going to eat and drink for free and then lay up and get a massage at the end of the day, right? So when I show up at the retreat, we see this cute guy that we thought was an instructor. You know, and we was like, oh, look at that instructor. At least he cute. We got something good to look at while we suffer, okay? And that's how I met Kevin. And I got to tell you, even then, like, Kevin was a lifesaver for Angela and I because we had no idea what we were in for. Kevin motivated us, encouraged us, helped us to embrace our unbreakable spirit as we were on that journey. So I want to thank you for still being in my life and continuing to encourage me today. Thank you, Kevin. I love that man. And so, guys, listen, so I'm at a point, right, in my life, in my career, that people look at me as a leader. I used to laugh about that shit. Serious. I was like, me, a leader? Are you kidding me? But yes, and I'd like to share some of the things that I've learned on my journey towards leadership. And I say journey because leader to me is a process and not a position. I say journey toward because I never want to think that I've arrived at being a leader because just like the circumstances of life, an effective leader is evolving and ever changing in order to serve the needs of them that's around them. It is the idea of leading by serving. It's the same thing that unites all of us here today. In my industry, the entertainment industry, when I'm acting or directing, I have to serve. I have to serve my character. I have to serve my cast. I have to serve my crew in order to deliver the best possible product to the screen. And just like you, representatives of the hospitality industry, you ensure the success of your restaurants, hotels, etc., by serving your customers and your clients. Now, as simplistic as leading by serving sounds, it was something that I got to tell you I had to learn along the way. Now, for some of you that may not know all the things that I've gotten the opportunity to do, I'm an actress. I've been in movies like Why Did I Get Married with Tyler Perry, Why Did I Get Married 2? He directed and starred in with me and Janet Jackson and Jill Scott. I've done movies like Couples Retreat starring Vince Vaughn and a bunch of other cool people, Jumping the Broom. I've been a stand-up comedian. I started off first as a stand-up comic. There were two cool guys named Max Muchnick and David Cohan that ended up going on to create a show called Will and Grace. They wrote the very first TV show for me called Boston Common. I'm an acting teacher. I have an acting school. And I'm not saying this because I'm bragging, but kinda, I'm bragging because honestly, God has been really good to me, I must say. And I went on to be a director. I'm directing a bunch of big shows on a bunch of big networks like Fox and Stars. I direct 911, a show called Big Sky. I just finished directing a show that I'm a big fan of called Mayor of Kingstown, starring Jeremy Renner. I directed a pilot called BMF. It's in its 3rd season. I directed another pilot called Our Kind of People. I mean, come on, I could go on and on and on about how good God is to me, okay? I'm serious. It's been a blessing and it's been wonderful. But that is where I am now. My journey to being a leader in my industry started in a very, very different place. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. How many of you know Camden, New Jersey? Now, there was a time I would tell people I was from Camden, New Jersey. They would snatch their purses and shit, you know, thinking I was about to rob them. I'm serious, because I'm from the hood. I mean, I know y'all got a hood in Chicago, but I'm from the hood. My mother had me at 14 years old. Could you imagine a 14-year-old giving birth to a set of twins? Single mom, no father, hand to God. Met my father for the first time in February of this year. During the time as a young girl, my mother had a really bad drug addiction. She got hooked on drugs by the time I was about 8 years old. Until probably about 16 or 17, we would literally take walks to visit her in the rehab. Our house was literally like a crack house, seriously. As a little girl, I dealt with sexual abuse, domestic violence, drugs. I started drugs at 14 years old. And I'm talking cocaine. It's a blessing I even look this good, y'all. Can we just give it up for that? Okay? Like, seriously? Now, because of my mom's addiction, you know, we have been evicted so many times. Could you imagine coming home as a 12-year-old and your shit's out on the street again? It was very traumatizing. The sexual abuse was traumatizing. The emotional abuse was traumatizing. The physical abuse was traumatizing. All of it really, really, really put me in a space of constant fear and constant insecurity. It was like I was left discouraged about my life, discouraged. I had no confidence. I was afraid all the time. I always felt like somebody was out to get me or take something from me. It was a very, very, very traumatizing time in my life. And even though I was able as a young girl I was able to get small roles in commercials, and I was able to now fulfill my dreams as an actress and director, I was still living this life on the defense. Because growing up that way, it was all about survival. I felt like I had to hurry up and grab it before somebody took it from me, right? I was guided by my insecurities and my fears, and it just made me assume that everyone was out to get me. I had this protection that I developed, and I just retreated into this space of ego. It became like this hard outer shell, right, that shielded me from the thought that everyone on the outside was trying to take what was mine. So I walked around with a lot of anger, this hard, exterior, trying to act like I think I knew it all when I didn't know nothing. And I don't know if I told you guys, I even dropped out of school in the 9th grade and got a job bartending at a strip club. And then eventually I started stripping. Thank God I'm talented as an actress, because I wasn't that good at stripping. I just got to tell you. I wasn't. I was horrible. I was horrible, right? But the combination of my fears and my insecurities and my ego, it made me unable to properly receive any input or advice from people around me, right? In my mind, it was like I thought people were looking to undermine my authority, you know, because I was walking around with this insecurity and fear. And I also felt like a major imposter. I really, really, really did. I remember when I first started directing, and that was not an easy thing for me, because I had done this little summer program, you know, for film school, and then I had taken 30 grand of my money and invested it in a short short film. And I had been an actress and I had been in the business, but a lot of directors that I knew, they were much more technically savvy than I was. I understood story and I understood characters because I was an acting teacher and I had helped prep a lot of actors with directors like Lee Daniels and John Singleton, and different actors and directors would come to my school. So I learned a lot, but I still had a lot of fear and a lot of insecurity. Every time I would go in, like in the early parts of my directing career, I could have an AD or a DP or even a set PA that would try to come and help me. But because of the ego, which was really me trying to cover the fact that I felt like an imposter and felt like that I didn't belong there and that I didn't deserve it, I would push them away all the time. It was like my insecurities and my fears would shut out the very people that was sent there to help me. So I eventually had to learn on my journey towards leadership that my ego, instead of protecting me, it was actually hurting me, and it was putting me and my projects in danger. I remember reading this quote that said, "Being a control freak is a weakness, not a strength. If you can allow others to shine," right? Or if you can't, allow others to shine, then it's like you're full of narcissism and you show a lack of self-confidence. And that was something that I needed to understand. Instead of being a leader by listening and providing a space for my crew to be able to contribute, I kind of shut them out, which caused me to be isolated from them and isolated from the ideas and the help that they were there to give me. So I had to learn as a leader to embrace the help of those around me. And once I got that, I was doing this show called Black Lightning, and it was a big, action kind of DC show, a lot of VFX, and everything in the world of VFX has to be much more specific as far as the shots. So I had to do some drone work, and I hadn't really worked with a lot of drones, especially in the world of VFX and that kind of action. And the drone operator that I gave an opportunity to had come to me and said, "Tosh, I can help you with this if you want. I know the shot that you need to have." And I was so glad that I had got rid of that ego and that fear and that insecurity that made me shut people out. It was exhausting too, I'm not gonna lie. It was exhausting showing up and feeling like I had to act like I had it all together instead of allowing myself to be vulnerable in front of my team and letting them know where I may have needed help. Because the crew is part of your team. You're not an island unto yourself in this industry. So I had to embrace them and allow them to help me. So Louis is his name, and he's an amazing drone operator. He saved my black ass that day. Can I just tell y'all, he gave me the shot I needed, and I was so grateful. And to this day, every opportunity I get to do a pilot or something, I call on Louis and his team to come, and they always have my, excuse my mouth, motherfucking back. Love me some Louis, okay? Sorry, y'all, I cuss. Anyway, other important lesson that I've learned on my journey, right, is that leaders, right, have to become great students. Now, just because you're a leader doesn't mean you can't be taught. So right now, right, I got blessed with another job, okay? Right now, I am filming a really big movie starring two incredible actors and comedians named Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. And that movie is called Bad Boys Fault, okay? So I get a call from my agent that they're interested in me to play this role, but I had to audition. Now I'm thinking, I'm Tasha Smith, goddammit, I got 2 million followers on Instagram. I I'm directing all this big shit, and they want me to audition? Shit. Okay. When I need to have the tape in, okay? So now I told y'all how I have an acting school, right? So at my acting school, most of my teachers have been my students, and they're incredible. So I call on Eric, who had been working with me for about 7, 8 years. I taught him and then trained him to be a teacher. And now I have this big audition. So I go to Eric and I say, can you help prepare me for this audition? Eric never thought in a million years that the tables would turn, where he was a student, and I saw what a great teacher that he had the ability to be because he was an incredible student. He listened, he took notes, he was fantastic. So I went to him and I paid him his hourly fee, which is about $175 an hour. He told me, no, I can't take no money from you. I work for you. I said, but I honor your gift as a teacher, and I need it. He taught me, he prepped me. We worked for about 2 hours. He put me on tape. I sent him my audition tape, and about 2, 3 weeks later, I got the motherfucking job. Yo, I don't know which water was what, but I'm just gonna open a new one. Okay, I know COVID ain't around as much as it was, but just in case, I don't know what kind of cooties Chris got. No, let me stop. I'm playing. Give it up for Chris, who was just up here, y'all. So y'all, I got the job. Now, it was a blessing for me to get that job, but guess who else it was a blessing for? Eric. My teacher. It inspired him, encouraged him. The next group of classes he went in to teach, he taught with so much tenacity and even more confidence because his teacher became his student. And not only did I become his student, but he helped me book one of the biggest jobs of my career, okay? Can we give it up for Eric, please? Now, I'm about to close up, but I want to tell you that whether you believe it or not, I believe that we all have what I call an unbreakable spirit. It is the remarkable capacity of the human spirit to rise up from adversity and transform into whatever it is we desire. The reality of the unbreakable spirit is why I feel I'm standing here today, because I had to not allow the fears and the insecurities and my past break me and stop me from being successful. I didn't want to allow it to break me and stop me from embracing all the people that God sent in my life to help me. The unbreakable spirit, it's important that we know, is powerful. I had to embrace my adversity and allow it to become a catalyst for my personal growth. Now I have the opportunity to push past all of my insecurities and discover the depth of my true character as a leader. The unbreakable spirit has the power, remember that, to transform lives. It is the force that propels us forward. It fuels our creativity and allows us to embrace the voice of the team that we have around us. If you feel the fear, if you feel the insecurity, if you feel the lies of those ideas of being an imposter, know that you have an unbreakable spirit, and you can surrender and allow the people around you to know that you're afraid, that you're insecure, and that you don't have it all figured out. not only will your life transform, but the life of that person that you share that with will as well. As our job as leaders and as humans is to tap into and help others tap into the real strength that comes from diversity. For me, it was me getting out of my own way, not allowing, again, the fear and the insecurity and ego sabotage my projects and isolate me from those around me. Our task is to do the introspective work of identifying how we are in our jobs, our roles, positions, and best, lead by serving. There's this other quote I read that the weak are dominated by their ego, but the wise dominate their ego. And this right here is scripture. Whoever would be great among you must be your servant. The greatest gift that we have is to serve and to embrace the team that God sent us to help us. I want to thank you again, Kevin, for always leading with tenacity, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit. God bless you. Thank you. Be strong.